Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about the very moment everybody should have known that the MCU was doomed. And it has to do with one character and one character only, and that is Ralph Bohner. Even just his name itself should have let everybody know that this was a giant middle finger from that of Marvel Disney. And the reason for that is it's the third strike. See, back in the other phases, even when Marvel was at its low point, they were still pretty satisfying. There was still some movies you can still be like, okay, well, this movie isn't as great as the other one, but at least there was some good stuff in it, you know what I'm saying? And so all that changed the moment their very first Disney Plus show came out. And it really marked the start of the end, in my opinion. See, the first two strikes, the very, very, very first one should have been the two white mandarins. That pissed fans off because the first one was just some actor they hired and he's a goofy type person. Then the second one was an actual villain, but still he was not Asian and stuff. And that really pissed a lot of fans off because, the Mandarin's Asian and the excuse they gave us was dumb and lame. It was nothing but a giant joke, but it wasn't a middle finger. That's the thing. Then came Zemo in Civil War. He's only really Zemo by name, and that's it. Didn't have the costume, didn't have the mask, and yeah, he screwed with the Avengers, but not the way he does in the comics. In the comics, he's much more of a threat. Yeah, they tried to redeem him in the Disney Plus Falcon and Winter Soldier show, and yeah, they gave him a mask, but it just felt lame. It just didn't feel earned and everything. And they was trying to make up for mistakes and stuff, and it just didn't work. So those were the first two strikes. The whole fool me once, shame on me, what's that phrase? Fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, or something like that, I don't know. And then the third one. So that third strike was Mr. Ralph Bohner himself. And ever since he showed up, the MCU really has not been the same since. It's been a kind of, hey, we're going to screw with you. Hey, this is a middle finger for you. And hey, we're going to give you characters only in name only. But they're going to have completely different personalities and different team setups and stuff like that. Because we're going to do what we want to do and you're going to watch it. And people really should have stopped watching right after this whole Ralph Bohner thing. See, the whole Ralph Bohner thing is part of that whole Marvel Disney baby humor thing. It was literally a slap in the face. It was a spit in the face. It was a middle finger to the face. And the thing about it is that it was never supposed to be taken seriously by that of the creators, and they completely tricked that of the fans. It was like an late April Fool's joke. And the reason for that is because of the X-Men movies. Now, we've been anticipating the arrival of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four for a very long time. Because of legal reasons, we could never got them. But we knew they were starting to ease up on the legal restraints and stuff like that. So we knew it was only a matter of time, but we didn't know exactly how long of a time. About a 5-year span. And so they kind of just played with our emotions and stuff. They knew how bad we wanted it. And with the whole Wanda thing, if you know her from comics, you know she's powerful. You know she can warp reality. You know she can probably punch a hole through the multiverse if she really wanted to. And then there's that whole House of M, which kind of WandaVision is kind of like an odd adaptation of that in a very odd kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And so when they had Evan Peters show up as Quicksilver, as Pietro, Everybody's like, oh my God, he came from the Fox X-Men movies. He has the speed and everything, but his speed is reminiscent of what the MCU speedster Quicksilver looks like. So we didn't know what the world to make of this. We all like, holy crap, they actually delivered. And he seems to have the memories of the Pietro from the MCU. So it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? Is his memories integrating with the other memories of the other Quicksilver? And if so, oh man, like this is how they're gonna bring him on. Cause we knew the multiverse was gonna be a thing in the MCU going forward because of Avengers Endgame. With them time traveling and them changing, like, events in history that created alternate realities, alternate Earths, we knew the multiverse was a thing. And there's Loki, he's going through, like, with the Cosmic Cube changing stuff, and Captain America changed some stuff, and the Avengers changed some stuff, and so we knew somehow the X-Men and all of them were gonna be coming in through the multiverse, and we thought this was it. This would have been perfect. This would have been beautiful, because it's like, how did the Fox Quicksilver come on over to the MCU? Who was powerful enough to bring him over? Or did he just run like Speed Force style like the Flash does? And then they hit us with the Ralph Bohner joke, saying that he's just a guy who lives in the MCU, and Agatha, it was her all along. Pretending that he was Quicksilver and all this other crap. It was meant to be a funny hee hee ha ha kind of moment from Marvel, but they went too freaking far. This outraged fans so much that we should have just said, you know what, we're done. We're not going to invest our time, our money into your projects. And when you start losing money, then maybe you'll change your tune. Because the MCU is all about that humor. But they used to be about smart humor. Now they're about dumb humor and everything. And fans are just sick and tired of it. But by doing this, it opened our eyes. We started to see a pattern that actually started happening before in the MCU. Is that they'll give us a character and they'll kind of change them up a little bit. See, when they did that, that was fine. Thanos changing his motive, Hela changing her family lineage and stuff like that. It was fine because it was major. Now, on the other hand, they're just changing things to suit whatever story they want to tell. I mean, the Hulk is a great example. This is not the Hulk. This dude is so far removed. He looks like Mark Ruffalo. He acts like a normal person. He's nothing that resembles the Hulk or the Hulk motives. They could never tell if they was allowed to a true Hulk story, because they have literally ruined this dude. Captain Marvel's kind of just, in name only. She doesn't really act like the Carol Danvers that people know and love from like the comic. America Chavez, the live action version doesn't act nothing like she does in the comics or the cartoons. She doesn't have that fierce personality, that strong vibe that she exhibits and everything. It's only in name only. Their Guardians should have been the big clue. They're just in name and appearance only. Their personalities have been completely changed for that of the MCU. And somehow it worked, because, a lot of people didn't like the comic book versions and stuff like that. The Ravengers, this is not their lineup. The MCU lineup is not their lineup from the comics. The Eternals are just in name only. That is it. There's a reason why this movie bombed when comic book fans saw and how they acted and stuff. Now they're doing it with the Champions. The Champions is literally the lineup from the Young Avengers, but they decided to ditch the whole Young Avengers thing and now just like call them Champions. A somewhat different lineup, because Marvel's just doing whatever Marvel wants to do at this point, or the MCU, I should say. Death from the Agatha All Along like series. I'm sorry, this just doesn't do it for me. This character just doesn't do it for me. She just seems like a jilted ex-girlfriend who's whiny and has like teenage facial expressions and stuff, and I'm just not feeling it. You know, Riri Williams. I don't remember her ever having any type of connection to her armor being like from Wakanda and everything. You know, like why was she in the second like Black Panther movie? Oh, it's because they screwed up her character by not introducing her in Iron Man 3, and instead they introduced that boy who isn't even from the comics and everything. He was just a made up character. It should have been Riri. And so they're all like, okay, where can we stick her? What movie can we stick her in? Of course, they put her in the all black movie because it's black folks. And it's just kind of like that's the only reason why the second reason why they put her there. And it's like, you know, she couldn't have been introduced in like the Young Avengers movie or something, or have her own show at that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then there is Spider-Man, which he's kind of Spider-Man, but he's more of an Iron Man knockoff and stuff. You know, and everybody's been saying he's just Iron Man Jr. We don't know his origin. Still, we don't know his origin. Like, he acts way too silly, goofy, and everything. And he's becoming less and less like Spider-Man. Oh my God, don't even get me started on Moon Knight. I'm still pissed off about that. Like, ugh. And so I can keep going on and on and on and on. But it's just like, over at the MCU, they're just doing whatever suits them, whatever suits their story. But they're not really giving us these comic book characters like they used to in the past. And it's getting very frustrating. And even though there's been examples in the past, I do feel like this Ralph Bohner thing was just the nail in the coffin. And it's something that just kept happening over and over and over again in the MCU to the point where people are just irritated and they're tired of it. Because we assumed, okay, after the Mandarin thing, they was gonna learn their lesson. But then here came the Zemo thing. It was like, okay, now we know you're gonna learn your lesson now, and they didn't. That Ralph Bohner thing was just complete stupidity. And now Robert Downey Jr. is gonna play Doctor Doom. That is how desperate they are now. And it's just, I truly believe that they would have gave us the real Quicksilver, then they would have appreciated fans, they would have respected the fans. But when they did that, it just showed they didn't respect nobody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.